Welcome to another tutorial related to the battery management system. So in this particular tutorial, we will be looking into the concept related to the Kalman filter and also the terminologies. So why we are basically learning Kalman filter in this case, right? So when you deal with a system in which you want to predict something inside the system, like an SOC or SOH, right? Health or state of charge. Then in that case, you do not have any specific instrument to measure this. Even if you have specific instrument, then it is available at labs only to experimentally confirm like whatever we are measuring is correct or not. But in actual vehicles, it is not possible to have a sensor or estimator related to the internal state of the battery, right? So in this case, we can use the concept of Kalman filter. So Kalman filter basically takes a system understanding and the measurements and the inputs that is going in and out. And based on that, it can predict the internal states of the battery, and through that maybe we will get some confirmation that this is what actually going on inside the battery. So why it is important to understand all these things? Because if we understand these things and estimate the relevant quantities on time, then in that case we can prevent our batteries to get damaged, and we can prolongate the life of these batteries which are used in the electric vehicles. So if you try to understand the Kalman filter, then in that case you will be going through some of the basic and key terms that are necessary to understand, right? So for Kalman filter, you need to understand what is basically a Gaussian distribution or what is basically a normal distribution. So consider an example that you are doing some measurement, irrespective of whatever the domain you are in, like you are basically taking some measurement. Then in that case, the measurement that you will take, in that the lowest value will be very less in the measurements. Like suppose if you are trying to measure the resistance value of a resistor, you measured the resistance value multiple times, okay, and in that one measurement you got the lowest one and another measurement you got the highest one, and the average value of these measurements are the highest in the measurement series, right? So in that case you usually get a Gaussian curve, and this is the most usual outcome that you usually get when you try to measure something. So in our case, if we want to measure the voltage, then in that case we will be measuring sometimes 4 volt and sometimes 4.1 volt, maybe sometimes 4.2 volt, like that. So no measurement instrument is accurate. Because of this we are getting all these issues, right? So in this case, what we can use a probability distribution function, and through that we will be basically predicting like what is actually going on inside the system based on the distribution or the measurement that we have. Okay, so for every instrument you will have a probability distribution function as well as for every state estimation. So we will try to understand later on like what is basically state estimation, but for now you can consider all these things are distributed, and mostly these things are Gaussian. So for that, we need to understand basically what is Gaussian distribution and what are the terms related to the same. So the first term that you will be encountering in case of a Gaussian distribution is the center point or the mean. Okay, so basically this is the mathematical average of all the data points that you have taken in your measurement, and based on that, what is the average that is exactly the mean of a Gaussian distribution system or distribution. Next term is the standard deviation. So basically, if a measurement is deviating from the mean, right? How much far it is deviating from that mean value, then that is the standard deviation. Okay, and mostly what we basically cover is we try to achieve like 68.2% of the data inside the Gaussian curve, right? 68.2% of the area, and that will be aligned with the mean, and based on that we try to cap it. So based on this we try to calculate the standard deviation. The next term that you will be able to see is the variance. Okay, so variance is a square of the standard deviation. So suppose the current measurement that you have taken is deviating from the mean value with a value of 10, right? So in that case your standard deviation will be 10, right? But if you try to calculate the variance, then in that case the variance will be square of 10, which is basically 100. So here basically you are trying to amplify the impact, and this will help you to remove the outliers that are there in the system, and it will try to identify these outliers so that you can perfectly design the system or perfectly try to identify which are the outliers. So these are all the key terms that are there, and you also know the Gaussian distribution that we have. So this is the Gaussian distribution, and it looks like this, which you are able to see in the formula. Okay, so you need to give the relevant values like for the mean as well as for the standard deviation, and then you will be able to get this function. And if you plot the values in the functions, like if you give the values to the function, then you will get this distribution. Okay, so now we will try to understand the meaning of mean and standard deviation. Okay, so if I change my mean right from 0 to some other value, then you can see my mean is shifting like this, and my Gaussian distribution is also changing. Okay, so this is how the impact of mean in case of a Gaussian distribution. Okay, now suppose I reset back it to 0. I'm making it 0. Okay, and now suppose I want to increase my standard deviation. So standard deviation will be increasing over here. Okay, so standard deviation basically represents the uncertainty in the system. So more the uncertainty, the less will be the height of the curve, and based on this you will be able to see right the measurement or the state estimation that you are doing in this case will be more uncertain, right, if I am increasing my standard deviation. So in this case, like you will be relying less on that particular system when the standard deviation is more, and whenever your standard deviation is less, then in that case you will be relying more on that particular system. So suppose your measurement has standard deviation of this much, then you will be more relying on your measurement. If your state has the standard deviation of this much, right, so still you will be relying more on the measurement because it will have the standard deviation of this, and you are more certain, right, in this case. So this is how the Kalman filter actually works. Which one will be better choice, that Kalman filter decides, and based on that you basically get the outcome, and through that you basically decide which one to trust more and which one is the exact estimate of the particular quantity that you want to decide. So this is the rule of Gaussian distribution in case of the Kalman filter. We will try to understand the Kalman filter in a detailed way with the help of a actual example, which we are basically seeing related to the battery and SOC estimation. But this is a small tutorial which will give you a feel that this is what the meaning and this is what we are trying to achieve, because all the things that we will be dealing in Kalman filter is related to the Gaussian distribution. And if we understand graphically what it means for the system, what we are trying to estimate, then in that case it will be more easy for us to understand these things and will make our concept really concrete and clear so that we can apply it in our actual fields. So this is all about for this particular video. In case you have any comment or query, please let us know in the comment section, and this particular animation will be available in the resource link, which will be helpful for you to interact with and will be helpful to understand the concept within a detailed manner with your own understanding. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.